Hi GOR, this is Unit 8, Lesson 4, and today we're going to talk about the point slope form of a line. So you guys are familiar with the slope intercept form. That's the one we were talking about yesterday, y equals mx plus b. And that's nice because we get to see the slope and we get to see the y-intercept, so it's helpful for graphing. But there's another common way that we can write the equation of a line, and that is the point slope form. And that's the one that we're generally going to use in geometry. So in exercise 1, we want to explore a line whose slope is 2/3 and which passes through the point 4, 5. So I already have the point 4, 5 graphed. It's right here. I'm going to make that point a little bit darker. And I want to draw the line. So if it has a slope of 2/3, remember that top number tells me to go up or down, and the bottom number tells me to go left or right. So I'm going to go up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go in the other direction, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. Okay, and then I'm going to connect these. And I have my line. Now we can see that this line does not have an integer as a y-intercept. The next question asks, between what two consecutive integers must the y-intercept of this line fall? So the y-intercept is in between 2 and 3. So it's going to be 2 point something. All right. The point -8, -3 also lies on this line. Find the slope between -8, -3, and 4, 5. All right, so we're going to find that slope algebraically. So I'm labeling my points x1, y1, x2, y2. So the slope is going to be 5 minus -3, 4 minus -8. So again, remember, we've been doing this for 2 days now. I subtract the y's, that goes on top. And I subtract the x's, that goes on the bottom. 4 minus -8 is actually 4 plus 8. And that's 12. I divide by 4, and I'm going to get 2/3. All right. Well, that's not surprising because the original line had a slope of 2/3, right? If we're looking at this, I was told that the slope was 2/3. So it makes sense that another point, which was -8, -3, and that would be over here, if it lies on the same line, then it has to have the same slope. Okay, so that makes perfect sense. Now let's consider any arbitrary point xy that lies on the line. Explain why the following equation must always be true for this line. All right, so I have the point 4, 5, and I have the point xy. So if I wanted to find the slope is the change in the y, so y minus 5, over the change in the x's, x minus 4. And I already know the slope is 2/3. All right, and then I'm going to rearrange the equation so that there's no fraction on the left-hand side. So I'm going to cross multiply. Now when I cross multiply, that 3 is technically multiplied by the whole thing. So it's multiplied by the y and the -5, although I'm not going to actually distribute it. And the 2 is multiplied by the x and the -4. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 3. Okay, and that leaves me with y minus 5 equals 2/3 x minus 4. This right here is my point slope form of a line. I have a point and I have a slope. The slope is my 2/3 and the point is my 0.45. Notice though, the 4 and the 5 are both negative. All right, so let's rearrange this point slope form of a line that we just found and place it in slope intercept form. So in order to place it in slope intercept form, that means I want it to be y equals mx plus b. I'm just going to distribute this 2/3 to everything in the parentheses. So that's going to be 2/3 times -4 is -8/3. Whoops, I don't want a double negative there. So that's going to be 8/3. And on this side, I have y minus 5. Now, to get y by itself, I'm going to have to add 5. Now, when I add 5, it would actually be nicer if I had the same denominator. So I'm really going to add 15 over 3. See how the denominator is the same? So I made 5 15 over 3 because that's what it's equivalent to. I finally have y by itself on the left. And 2/3 x, -8/3 plus 15/3 is actually 7/3. And so my slope, again, is 2/3. And now I can actually see my y-intercept right here. My y-intercept is 2 1/3, which makes perfect sense because back on B, I said it was between 2 and 3. All right, so this is how the point slope, I wanted to show you how the point slope formula actually comes about. So the point slope formula, again, this is the one that I'm going to use all the time in geometry, is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So I have a point, and my point is x1, y1, and I have a slope, and both of those get substituted in, and that is my answer. So I'm going to show you how easy this is on the next page. Okay, but this, as soon as I say write an equation of a line in geometry, this is basically what you're going to do almost all the time, is that point slope form. All right, so keep that in mind for when we're doing exercise 2. So using that slope and using that point, I'm going to highlight them the same way that I highlighted. So my slope is highlighted in yellow and my point is highlighted in green. So all I'm going to do is y minus, and then I have my slope, x minus. All I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my point here, and I'm going to plug in my slope here. And that's it. And that's my answer. So it's going to be y. This is my x. This is my y. Y minus 7 equals 4 parentheses x minus 5. And I'll highlight that again so we can see what went on. Okay, that's my answer. Done. And I can leave it just like that. It does not say that I have to put it in slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's try the next one. Y minus the y coordinate, which is 5, equals the slope, which is negative 1/2, parentheses x minus negative 3, which is x plus 3. So the big thing is you have to remember to change those signs. Okay, let's look at C. So again, this is my x1 and my y1. So y minus negative 10, which is y plus 10, equals my slope, which is negative 2, parentheses x minus 4. Again, that's my answer. I don't need to do anything more with it. And the last one, D, just make sure we totally have the hang of this. Y minus negative 5, which is y plus 5, equals my slope, which is 4/5, x minus negative 2, which is x plus 2. Okay, and that is my answer. The only time you might have to simplify is if it is a multiple choice kind of problem and your multiple choice answers are simplified. All right, so let's look. Number 3, which of the following is the equation of a line that's parallel to y equals 5x minus 3 and passes through the point 411? So we need two things to write an equation of a line. I need a point and I need a slope. Well, I have the point. My point is 411. The other thing I need is a slope. I actually have the slope. Well, I have information about the slope. It's parallel to this other line. The only reason why they're giving you this other equation, not for the y-intercept, but they're giving you that other equation for the slope. So that other equation has a slope of 5, and it's parallel, and you guys have to remember that parallel lines have the same slope. Then all you do is you take the point, and you take the slope, and you plug it in. And that's it. So y minus 11 equals my slope, which is 5, x minus x1, which is 4. Now that's technically my answer, but of course you have to distribute because your answer choices don't look like that. Okay, but right away we can get rid of choice 3 and choice 4 because they have the wrong slope there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to distribute the 5 to everything inside. So I get 5x minus 20. And then I'm going to add 11 and bring that over to the other side. And I can see that my answer is going to be y equals 5x minus 9. Choice 2. Okay. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. Let's see if we have any other different kinds of problems. Segment AB has endpoints at A, -4, 9, and B, 0, 1. If a line is drawn through A, all right, so I'm going to use A. A is going to be my point, and it's perpendicular to AB. All right, to write an equation, I need a point, which I have, point A, and I need a slope. The thing I don't have is a slope, but I know it's perpendicular to AB. So let's find the slope of AB. All right, so the slope of AB, I'm going to do 1 minus 9. I subtract the y's. That goes on top. 0 minus negative 4. I subtract the x's. That goes on the bottom. So that gives me negative 8 over 4, which is negative 2. All right, that's the slope of AB. But I want the perpendicular slope. So the perpendicular slope, remember, I need to flip it and change the sign. All right, so now I have my slope and I have my point. And I'm going to use those right over here in my equation. So y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Y minus 9 equals 1/2 parentheses x minus negative 4. And that's it. This one I don't need to simplify because I can just leave that as my answer. That is an acceptable answer. Oh, actually, I'm so sorry I can't because I'm just reading the question again. I want to know what's its y-intercept. So if I want to know its y-intercept, I do have to distribute this in order to get y by itself. So I have y minus 9 equals 1/2 x. 1/2 times 4 is 2. And then I'm going to add 9. So then I can see my y-intercept is 11. And that's my answer. All right. If a line is drawn through the point 4, 10 such that it is perpendicular to y equals 1/3 x minus 7, then which of the following would be its y-intercept? All right, so this slope of this line is 1/3, but it's perpendicular. So anytime it's perpendicular, remember that you need to do the negative reciprocal. So I'm going to use that slope, and I'm going to use my point, which is 4/10. So y minus 10 equals negative 3 x minus 4. And then I want to know the y-intercept, so I'm going to distribute that. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. And then I'm going to add 10 because I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to have y equals negative 3x plus 22. So then I can see that my y-intercept is actually 22. And last one here, I have triangle ABC. All the points are already graphed for me. I want to determine the slope of AB. Okay, so that's pretty easy. I'm going to look at A and B. I'm going to find their slope. 2 minus negative 4. 8 minus negative 7. So that's 6 over 15. And I do want it in simplest form. So those are both divisible by 3. So that's going to be 2/5. All right. And then I want to draw a line that passes through C and is perpendicular to AB. Well, if it's perpendicular, that means I have to take that slope and I need to flip it and negate it. So I want the negative reciprocal. So from C, I'm going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. And down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. All right, and then I can connect these. And you can see right away that my line looks perpendicular, and it should be because I used a slope that had a negative reciprocal on it. And I want to write the equation in point-slope form. So again, I have the slope, and the point is point C. So I'm just going to take point C, and I'm going to take that slope, and I'm going to plug them both in, and that will be my equation. All right, so y minus 8 equals negative 5/2 x minus negative 6. And there's my equation in point-slope form. And I graphed it. I can actually see what the y-intercept is, although they didn't ask me that on this question. All right, so we'll practice that all tomorrow.